welcome to AI Search, the podcast about AI and ML. Hi, Dana. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let us know a little bit about yourself and your career and what's got you working with AI.
Okay, well, I'll tell you a bit of a secret. My superpower is storytelling. But first, do you know what is the biggest pain organizations face today?
Probably finding people, right? Maybe.
Yeah, in a way, it's change.
Yeah.
It changed. Why? Because people don't like to change. We change because we have to, not because we want to. So it could be changing a system, introducing a new tool. It could be culture change, like, safety first. I work in oil and gas. Mindset change, like in AI team, for example, building AI agents the right way to
Hmm.
avoid technical debt later. Could be organizational change, layoffs, redundancies, hirings. There are many types of change and they require specific expertise. And that's what I do.
Yeah.
So if you're a leader and you have someone in your team who understands change and can communicate change in a way that helps people understand why and how you can tell that story in a compelling way, then you are more likely to succeed.
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah, that's totally true. And if people are rejecting change, I think that, there's a lot of problems, both internal change as a manager, as a leader, or as an employee to change the way you work, but also as an organization. And I think it frustrates a lot of people, so you lose a lot of good talent. So it's not going to be working like a well-oiled machine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you introduce a change, you always have different types of people, people that would always put their hand up and, hey, I want to do it, whatever that is. And we call those early adopters. And then
Hmm.
you have people that recognize, hey, it takes a bit of time. And that's kind of pretty much the majority of people, understanding why they have to do it and they go through the change stages and eventually they adopt it. You always have people that are resistant to change.
Hmm.
And those are the ones that you have to convince and you have to listen harder to
Yeah.
to understand, well, why is
Right.
this? And then you always have a small group of people that will never change and you just have to accept that. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm called a transformation change strategist, but that's pretty much what I do.
Nice. What do you think is the
Yeah.
key to success for technical teams? When they're trying to launch their products, what makes that possible?
Mhm. Well, I've worked, for a long time with technical teams in various, cybersecurity, digital platforms, automation. And I think for me, there are like four things. The first one is cross collaboration.
Okay.
And I think success comes from tech teams, getting close to their customers and stakeholders, the people they build the solutions for. And often these people don't speak tech, but
Yeah.
they understand business and they understand how value is created. And
Hmm.
only together these two groups can achieve clarity and alignment so that they work together towards the same outcome.
Nice.
I think the second one is empathy,
Hmm.
a very underrated skill, especially in IT and tech.
Yeah.
Functional people like me, we are very good at putting ourselves in the shoes of our audience. And to do that, we research them, we ask the right questions, and building any tech product with a deep understanding of the audience needs is critical
Hmm.
because I think products succeed when they alleviate real business pain. I
Yeah.
talk a lot about real business pain, and I wrote an article about that in my newsletter, Narrative Automation, because
Hmm.
I think what we do needs to help alleviate pain, no matter in which form that takes shape.
Hmm.
Okay, the third one is agility and adaptability. And I think in tech, the ability a team has to adapt their minimum viable product based on new or ongoing feedback makes all the difference. I have
Hmm.
seen projects delivered in traditional waterfall methodology that took a year to deliver, and they had very little or no engagement whatsoever with the business.
Yeah.
By the time he was ready for the great show and tell, the solution was already outdated. And I think that's why agility and adaptability is important. And then the fourth one, very close to my heart, is soft skills. You
Yeah.
know, even the most technically sound team can struggle to improve awareness, adoption without great communication and storytelling skills. And in my opinion, there shouldn't be a tech team and a functional team. We should be one team.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, let my tech colleagues do what they do best, which is design and develop tech solutions, and let me do what I do best, which is use my change expertise to communicate and tell people the story of how these solutions will make things better.
Yeah. Very
And I was just, hmm?
Very cool. Yeah, very true. That's all about what you talked about change from the beginning. It's having the soft skills to adapt to change.
Yeah, and actually, I did a post this morning because I attended a lunch and learn session with a really big automation company, and
Hmm.
they were talking about soft skills for the robotic process automation developer community that they managed. And when I asked them, they talked about how to attain these soft skills. And when I asked them, the leaders whether they have functional people like me in their team, actually they didn't.
Oh, wow.
So, I hope chief information officers and automation leaders and AI leaders design talent strategies, considering hybrid teams
Yeah.
for with both tech and soft skills expertise. And I think an AI powered future will actually require that because we are going to help build more human, more ethical,
Yeah.
more human like AI.
Yeah, it's very true. Well, how has AI inspired you in the last few months, and made you kind of dive more into this technical work? I know you said you attend a lot of conferences and that you're spending a lot of time, learning, which is so great because I think a lot of soft skill people don't invest that much energy and time into the technical world, which is incredible. What's inspired you to learn more about AI recently?
Well, first of all, I just love the buzz going on at the conferences, on LinkedIn. Right now, everybody's talking about AI, including me. And I think it's about, its future and ethics, and people are talking about the future of work. And I'm learning something new every day, and that's wonderful. But the thing that's been inspiring to me, so I worked for about 3 years with an automation team, so I'm fairly familiar with, robotic process automation and the other technologies that are kind of part of this universe. But I think what's been inspiring to see how AI, takes kind of boring and time-consuming tasks and performs them in seconds.
Yeah.
Things like summarizing meeting minutes or
Yeah.
books or research, creating graphics, writing a script and generating a podcast,
Yeah.
like building code. Now, in my humble opinion, none of it is as good as what a human would do. It's about 70% there, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think, the potential is huge because AI empowers people like me
Mhm.
without deep technical knowledge to have a go at creating solutions that make my life easier and make me more productive.
Yeah.
Not long ago, I created a Power Automate workflow for the first time.
Nice.
I'm using a yeah, I created it because I wanted so every time I get an email in my inbox and it has an attachment, the attachments are saved in a specific folder.
Cool.
So I don't need to go right click and save and browse for the folder. It just basically does that automatically, which is
Nice.
pretty cool.
Very simple, very useful.
Yeah. And now I'm learning a lot about AI. Sorry, about AI videos. So
Hmm.
I'm using AI to create videos and play with it and try to understand, how far I can push it. But I would like to mention a bit of a word of caution. I was reading recently there are 7,000 AI tools and systems that exist today.
Wow. Wow.
And as excited as I am about 7,000 of them, every time I follow an influencer's instructions. So you have a lot of people on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and everywhere, LinkedIn, giving instructions on, how to do something using AI. And the most recent one was about, hey, here's how to use AI to get some financial benefits from a side hustle. So you can use an AI agent and build it, and you'll make money on the side.
Okay.
Well, every time I try to do that, it's always more tricky than it seems. And whether the tools, might require premium subscription, there are other barriers. It takes a lot of time to train yourself
Yeah.
and to understand the risks as well as the benefits. So I am inspired, but I am also cautious and I'm also realistic.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Do you think with this AI, revolution, what's happening now, this buzz, like the technical teams will also be able to achieve more, maybe even to the point where they can, get that empathy, get that human touch and cut out sales and marketing teams with this possibility of generating videos? I know you said it's at 70%-ish now, but, hopefully going into the future, it's a complex world out there, but is there any possibility that AI agents could kind of replace these, at least basic marketing and sales tasks?
When this kind of all kind of started, everyone thought AI is going to replace blue collar jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But in fact, if you're a plumber, if you're an
Yeah.
electrician, if you're a car mechanic, your job is safe from AI. I think
Yeah.
that's become pretty clear to people. It's
Yeah.
the white collar jobs that AI is impacting the most.
Mm-hmm.
And Nvidia, who's one of the largest companies in the world, their CEO said or asked the question, "Will AI take your job?" No. The person who can automate 50 to 70% of your job will take your job.
Mm-hmm.
So it's made me think that whatever our job is, white collar job, we need to break it down, our process, the communication process, the marketing process, what the business process in tasks and subtasks, and then understand what tool exists that can automate 50 to 70% of that task.
Yeah.
And then once we understand and upskill and learn how,
Mm-hmm.
then we can automate, 50 to 70% of this kind of roles. I think the good news is that, we will have more time for the task the human excels at. So
Yeah.
this automation and AI, it's going to free the time that we now spend on boring and mundane tasks. Like, in communication, in my space, it's about connecting the dots, building trust,
Mm-hmm.
cultivating relationships, strategic and creative thinking.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't think AI will ever
Yeah.
take these
No.
things.
No. Maybe it can give you some tips and tricks, but I don't think that it will. I think creative thinking is something that is constantly, about our environment around us. So we're definitely gonna have to work together with AI on that, but you're still going to be, you'll be the one driving.
That's right. So I think also we must acknowledge the fear of job losses
Hmm.
caused by this, AI explosion. It is a real fear. And yeah, it makes people a bit uncomfortable and stops them from being creative and trying to explore AI.
Yeah.
And I think change management can help people overcome this resistance
Hmm.
and kind of shape it into an opportunity, see it as an opportunity to be augmented by AI rather than replaced.
Yeah.
So I think we need to change the language a bit. I don't like to say, do you think people would be replaced? I would rather say, do you think people will be augmented and they will be better
Yeah.
together with AI? They will use AI to be better at what they do.
Of course.
But I think leadership plays a huge role in this
Yeah.
because I have seen, automation and AI leaders looking at these investments as purely a cost saving exercise or maybe, FTE reduction. So, how many people can I reduce my team by if I do automation and AI? And I don't think that's helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. It should be the opposite. How much more can we grow? How much more can we optimize our work with the use of AI instead of reducing just teams? Yeah. I mean, I think
Yeah,
it's a
how
lot to
much
do with
how
budget.
much
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking, I think it has a lot to do with financial sides and budget. I think every goal of every company is obviously more profit and less, spend. But I think if teams are cutting out their, key players because of AI and replacing them with AI agents, then they're not going to have the opportunity to grow because you always have to investment into the growth. So if you're just replacing five people with five AI bots, that's the only thing that they're going to be able to do. They're going to be able to do that task. And that's it. And there's not going to be any creative thinking about how to solve those problems from that bot because it's just designed to do that one thing. For example, I don't know, just to transcript text. And maybe that was a student job before, but that student will also understand the company and will grow and make suggestions and might do only his job, but he might also, make a breakthrough for an idea that can help the whole industry. So I think there's a lot of potential that gets lost if we just replace it with exact bots that cover exact tasks.
Yeah, I mean, in automation, bots that are created, they can work 24/7.
Yep.
Bots don't sleep, they don't get tired, they don't need to take lunch,
Yeah.
they don't go out for a smoke. So
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you use a bot, it is so efficient that actually, if you had a team of four, you would probably have one bot or two bots that would do, specific tasks from that team, but you won't be able to do all the tasks that that team is perform.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think people just need to be careful about, replacing versus augmenting.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, so you talked a lot about, you connecting with your soft skills and your talent in that to the technical teams who maybe don't have as much talent and soft skills, and especially in this luncheon that you just attended where they're not incorporating, soft skilled people into their teams. Do you think that AI could actually help like connect these two types of people eventually? Or that's just something that's going to have to, stay with humans?
So, the best part of my job is shining a light on tech heroes.
Yeah.
Scrum masters, developers, software engineers, and these people are so hardworking. They might be a bit soft-spoken, introverted personalities. They might be people of few words, but they are extremely intelligent. I am talking like genius level. I am so impressed. And I love coaching them on what does a good story needs. And then, we build the story together. And I love it when the story that we build together puts them in a good light.
Mhm.
And they receive kudos and recognition, and people come and shake their hands and tap them on their back. And you see them smile and how
Yeah.
proud they are. And to me, that is priceless and
Yeah.
is the main reason I love my job.
Yeah.
So coaching and mentoring, it's always been part of, me as well as my job. Last year, I certified as an executive coach. Simply because, I wanted to get the badge, but I also learned so much more about coaching. And because I was curious, I tested an AI coach, right? So I downloaded it and I started to ask it questions and I tested it. So an executive coach. And
Yeah.
again, my experience was mixed. And I thought, when you coach people, they kind of have to be a bit vulnerable, and they
Hmm.
have to share with you some of their most inner thoughts. And I found myself thinking, do I want to share my innermost thoughts and let myself feel vulnerable with
Yeah.
a company on an open AI platform I know very little about?
Yeah.
And I did not feel comfortable about where that information and those transcripts of those chats with the AI coach will go and how will they be used. And I
Yeah.
know a lot of companies are saying that your privacy is all that matters, but I
You
also know
never
that,
know.
in the UK, the police got hacked,
Yeah.
right?
I.
NHS got hacked, British Airways got hacked.
Mhm.
So forgive me for being a bit circumspect, but yeah. So I think to answer your question, yes, maybe, maybe AI agents and models and coaches will be able to do some of it. But I don't think, being empathetic, being able to mirror a human,
Yeah.
being that kind of trusted guide, when somebody is able to pour their heart out in front of you and trust that that information will never go anywhere else but between you.
Hmm.
I don't think they are there yet. But you know what? If there's a team that, wants to create such an AI agent or coach, hey, I'd love to be part of, the team that creates one.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be cool, yeah. But I do think that too. I think just the lack of trust. I think in order to get the full benefit from a coach or a psychologist or anyone that you're seeking advice from, you have to become vulnerable. And I don't think we as a population are ready, A, because of privacy and mistrust. That's a huge issue, but also talking to your screen is a different thing than talking to another human. And I think even if you go to, to a coach or to therapy or or even a friend, you're going to wait until you get to know them a little bit, in whatever circumstance that is, until you can fully trust them, to tell them a little bit things that are more private. Relationships don't happen overnight. So I think a relationship with a coach, it takes some time, and over, a few weeks, months, years even, you're going to be able to be completely vulnerable and trust that person. And that's just one person that's hearing your story versus, an AI model that's backed up by a huge amount of vector data points and a huge amount of employees and hackers and risks and everything. You're not getting that really, I think, human connection that's really important part of life. Our human existence is about communities. So I think that is something also, I agree with you. It would be interesting to see if someone's going to work on that. And I think some technical skills obviously can be learned and some things can be benefited. But I think that community building and relationship building that we have in between people is just something so wonderful that I would never want to lose that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And this AI coach, I mean, I tried a couple, and then there are many right now.
Yeah.
Um, it's repeating my name in the conversation. And I think it was because he was trying to be familiar and he was trying to build a rapport with me. But
Yeah.
I found it quite artificially
Yeah.
said, and in the conversation it seemed too much. And like you said, he gave me some good tips, but it didn't have the depth of a conversation that I would have with my coach, or I would, that I have with my clients. So yeah, I think not yet.
Not yet. Oh, very interesting. Well, I'm really excited to keep following your career and seeing what you're doing and connecting people. I think your LinkedIn posts are really insightful, and that's why we connected. So, thank you so much, Dana, today for your time. And I look forward to talking to you again on the future, either on this podcast or somewhere else on some conference.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me, and I wish you the best of luck with the podcast. It was very interesting. I was watching some of your other, YouTube videos. To anyone who's watching, I'm a big networker, and I love the idea of paying it forward. So find me on LinkedIn, read my narrative automation news if this kind of thing interests you, and yeah, just come and say hello. And thank you so much, Tanya. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.